In the Western imagination, Timbuktu is often just a word, a symbol for somewhere far away, mysterious, almost mythical. But the real Timbuktu was once one of the most important cities in the world. Not for gold, not for trade alone, but for something even greater, knowledge. At its height, Timbuktu housed hundreds of thousands of manuscripts, universities that rivaled the greatest in Europe, and scholars whose writings shaped the world. This is the story of the Great Library of Timbuktu, Africa's forgotten treasure of wisdom. Timbuktu began as a small trading post near the Niger River, but its location along the trans-Saharan trade routes changed everything. Caravans carrying salt, gold, ivory, and slaves passed through its gates. But alongside wealth came ideas, books, and scholars. By the 14th century, under rulers like Mansa Musa, Timbuktu transformed from a dusty settlement into a flourishing city. Traders brought books from Cairo, Mecca, and even as far as Spain, and Mansa Musa, who was himself a patron of knowledge, funded mosques, schools, and the legendary University of Sankara. In its golden age, Timbuktu was more than a marketplace, it was a university city. The University of Sankara and other madrasas attracted students from across Africa and the Middle East. Scholars copied, translated, and wrote texts covering nearly every subject, mathematics and astronomy, with calculations that helped guide desert caravans and even navigation by stars. Medicine, describing surgeries, herbal cures, and treatments long before they were practiced in Europe. Law and philosophy, detailed works on governance, ethics, and faith. It is believed that over 700,000 manuscripts were preserved here, making Timbuktu one of the greatest centers of knowledge in the medieval world, at a time when much of Europe was still in the Dark Ages. Timbuktu's reputation grew because of its scholars. Men like Ahmed Baba, often called the genius of Timbuktu, wrote extensively on law and ethics. Students would spend years studying before earning the right to teach others. The city became known as the City of 333 Saints, a place where wisdom was sacred and scholarship was as valuable as gold. Knowledge was not hidden for the elite, it was shared, debated, and passed on. But history is never still. As the Mali Empire weakened, Timbuktu fell under the control of the Songhai Empire, and later, Moroccan invaders. With every shift, the libraries faced new threats. When European colonial powers arrived centuries later, Timbuktu's legacy suffered even more. Many manuscripts were stolen, destroyed, or dismissed as irrelevant. What survived did so only because local families, ordinary people, risked their lives to hide manuscripts in walls, caves, and wooden chests. They understood their value, even when outsiders did not. Today, thousands of Timbuktu manuscripts are being restored and studied. They reveal Africa's rich intellectual tradition, a story that challenges the false narrative that Africa had no written history. From science to philosophy, these manuscripts prove that Africa was not only a land of kings and gold, but also a land of knowledge and innovation. Timbuktu's library stands as a symbol of Africa's contribution to world civilization. The Great Library of Timbuktu reminds us of something powerful. Empires may fall, wealth may vanish, but knowledge endures. It is a story the world must remember, that Africa has always been more than diamonds and gold. It has been a continent of wisdom, faith, and brilliance. This is the legacy of Timbuktu, Africa's ancient center of knowledge. Follow Voice of the Continent for more untold African stories.